Hey y'all, I finally got this is the cover for Madcap Family by Pamela Torrey. You can find it on Amazon. Um and it's free for people to read it on Kindle Unlimited, and there are books 1 through 6. So it is a series. Madcap Family is about a family with 5 boys and one very fierce little girl. She is 5 and she explains kissing to her father. He immediately bends his spoon. Um, there's the children are named in alphabetical order. AJ is named after Alden. They call him AJ. Ben is named after Stella's son or father. So it's AJ and Ben. When they got pregnant for twins, they decided to do A, B, C, D. So they had twin boys and named them Caleb and David. Then they had Elijah and finally Francine. She also goes by Franny. So they have one fierce little girl, and she's going to be a very independent young woman when she grows up. So anyway, my books are available in paperback also on Amazon, and they are 14-point font. Very easy reading. Oh my goodness. And if you live in the area, I'll even sign your books. No problem. All right, I'm going to go and read episode 1, Funeral Friday. Okay. Episode 1, Funeral Friday. 6 children standing side by side from oldest to youngest. Alden Jr., Ben, Caleb, David, Elijah, and the youngest and only female, Francine. Alden Jr. is 13, going on 14. Ben is 12, almost 13. Caleb and David are twins, age 9. Elijah is 7, and little Francine is 5. Francine is not too happy, her bottom lip pouting out as far as possible. Little Franny started to whimper. "Mama's dead. What we gonna do?" Franny cried. "Aw, quit your crying, Franny. Only babies cry," Caleb whispered in anger. "But she ain't moved in ever so long," David said. "Dead people don't move, stupid," Caleb stated as he cuffed his twin on the head. "Don't hit me, Caleb, or I'm gonna tell," David growled. "Who you gonna tell? Ma's dead," Caleb said fiercely. David launched himself at his brother like a little tornado. Both boys were now rolling on the floor, fists flying, legs kicking. AJ reached down and pulled the two of them apart. "How Ma ever gave birth to the two of you, I'll never know. Why can't you two be more like Elijah?" Everyone froze, all eyes went to AJ, mouth hanging open. "Why, that is what Mama used to say," Franny whispered. Everyone went quiet. All eyes glanced towards Elijah. He just lifted his shoulders, shrugging. David placed a sprig of posies gently onto their mom's chest. David sighed, stepping back with a solemn look on his face. "She sure does look peaceful," David said sadly. "I'm the oldest, you all, so pipe down and listen up," AJ demanded. AJ picked up the family Bible, opened it to any page, and spoke. "She was a good ma. She made us good food. She screamed at us when we needed screaming at. We don't hold that against her none, 'cause we probably deserved it, us being hellions and all. Anyhow, now that she's gone, I'm the boss, and what I say goes." AJ closed the Bible with a quick snap. 5 little faces had different levels of horror. They all looked back and forth at one another. AJ in charge? Suddenly their mom stretched and yawned. Slowly her eyes opened. Stella eyed her children from oldest to youngest. They were all lined up. The children were still in their pajamas. Their hair was mostly combed, faces somewhat clean, and each one of them had properly sad faces, for this solemn occasion, of course. Ma pointedly glared at the Bible in her oldest son's hands. She glanced down and saw the pretty flowers they placed on her chest. The children stood frozen in place like a herd of deer staring into the headlights of a car. "So, you guys have been playing funeral again. Don't you guys have anything better to do with your time? Like clean your room or gee whiz, wash a dish?" Ma stood up. her long dark hair flying, her brown eyes cutting into them all, glaring at her offspring. The children started pretending to cry, thanking God fervently that their mamma was all right, and pretend hugging her with joy. Of course, with children hugging all of her arms and legs, she could not take a single step. All right, I'm happy, you are happy, I'm alive. Yes, it's a miracle. Now scram before I take away your allowance. We don't receive an allowance, Ma, Elijah stated with his usual adult tone. Yeah, we don't get no allowance, Ma. All the kids were chiming in now. That's because you are horrible, disobedient children, Stella stated. AJ piped up. I think I speak for all of us. I don't think we should go without an allowance just because you can't make us behave. If you were stricter with us, we might act better. Because you, dear mother, have fallen down on the job, why should we suffer? Stella thought about AJ's version, 2.5 seconds to be exact. Her eyes got squinty, her face got all red. She opened her mouth to let 'em all have it. They scattered like roaches. Stella was left there with her mouth hanging open. Grr, coffee. I'm going to just drink it straight out of the pot, Stella screamed. Stella sipped her flavored coffee. It was her one and only vice. She could often be seen in the morning waiting impatiently for the pot to finish perking. Stella would stand at the counter with her cup ready. As soon as the last hiss ended, the coffee pot was in motion. Most of the time, her children left her alone, at least until she finished 2 cups of coffee. Today, they were in rare form. Stella shook her head with a slight smile. This was not the first time she had been awakened with the funeral game, probably not the last time either. Stella often wondered if she should sit them down and have the death talk, the passing away chit chat with her kids. Nothing seemed to scare her children. Stella shrugged and kept sipping. All was well with coffee. Stella is an attractive mother of 6. She is 5 foot 11 inches. Stella still has nice curves in all the right places. She had gained some weight with every child she had borne. She was not fat. Maybe being tall was a good thing. All the boys have dark hair ranging from dark brown to almost black with brown eyes. Francine is the exception. Franny has long chestnut curls that spiral down her back. She has big, beautiful, pale blue eyes. Often Stella and Alden would look at Franny in wonder. Where did she come from? Poor kid looks like she's adopted, Alden would say. Francine looks like all the Westmans, but her coloring is all her own. Franny is a throwback to her great great aunt Philomena Louise. An old portrait of Philomena hangs on the picture wall. Philomena is around 5. Hanging right next to Philomena's picture is a picture of Francine at age 4. Franny is the spitting image of her. Alden Jr. is named after his father. Everyone in the family calls him AJ. AJ has dark, curly hair cut short to keep it under control. AJ is a younger version of his dad. At almost 14, AJ is starting to broaden out. Not yet a man, but not just a boy either. Ben's hair is lighter, but not by much. He is already getting tall, catching up to AJ and their father in height. Caleb and David are identical twins. Both boys have messy, straight, brown hair, identical cowlicks on the right and left sides of their foreheads. Because of the cowlicks, their bangs are forced into a pointed V. Because of this, their hair is kept short. The boys run around with short mohawks. Stella has a secret way of telling her boys apart. Caleb has a freckle, an exceptionally light one on the right side of his face close to his earlobe. David is freckle free. Stella would get after one of the twins and call them by their correct name. No one in the family could figure out how she was doing it. The twins would even ask her in awe, "How do you know I'm me, Ma?" Stella would just smile and say, "A mother just knows." Elijah's hair is the lightest brown. His hair is always combed, always parted on the side, and neat as a pin. Elijah is the only child of hers that has glasses. Elijah is her quiet bookworm, always watching everything and everybody child. Stella was born Stella Antoinette Kale. She and her sister Annabelle Constance Cale grew up together in White Cloud, Michigan. Technically, they live on the very border of White Cloud in a resort town by the name of Hardy Dam. Hardy is quiet most of the year until summer hits. Hardy explodes with boaters and campers all through the summer. If you look at an aerial view of Hardy Dam, it snakes around looking very much like a dragon. Hardy Dam brings in boaters, campers, all manner of water sports. In the winter, ice fishing, snowmobiling, and the kids' favorite, sledding. The two sisters grew up close to Alden Westman's family with 2 miles of horrible road between them. They all rode the same bus to White Cloud Public Schools. Alden's family has owned the property they currently are living on for 10 generations. They own 400 acres with the Manistee National Forest all around them. They raise beef cows with an assortment of other animals. Stella's thoughts were interrupted by the sounds of outrage coming from the living room. She wandered into the living room. When she saw the school closing scrolling across the screen, she felt her anxiety level shoot through the roof. The snow piled up a lot during the night by several inches. Stella paced back and forth, chewing on her thumbnail. She watched the school closings roll across the screen. The list seemed incredibly long. Grant, closed. Hesperia, closed. Newaygo closed, on, one after another. Because it was Friday, if school were to be called off, it would be a very long weekend. The kids would be ecstatic. Stella, not so much. Ben, her second born, let out an enraged grunt. Why are all the schools around us closed, but White Cloud is open? Ben hollered. David sprang to his feet. Ma, you gotta do something. Those roads are probably deadly. You can't send us out in that, David paced. Stella looked out the window. Their house sat far off the road. Usually, if she looked out the front door, she could still see traffic going by. Today, she couldn't even see the road, only blowing snow. Stella really did not want her 6 children to stay home with her. Stella sighed. She did, however, want them to be safe. AJ, Caleb, and David were, of course, the ringleaders. "We could die, Ma," Caleb exclaimed. AJ finally joined in. "Yeah, Ma, you would miss us so much, you know you would. You should call the school and tell them that maybe they should drive down our road and see if we should have school. It is a death trap out there. I don't know who is in charge over there, but maybe you should give them a very stern talking to," AJ said in a firm tone. Ahem! Little Franny cleared her throat. All eyes turned towards her. Franny tossed her long, flaming curls while she seated herself on the footstool. She crossed her legs daintily while she slapped a band-aid on her porcelain doll's arm. "Well, I like school, and I like my teacher, and I love all my friends, and well, I think school is simply great." Francine's nose was pointed upward while she glared at her brothers. The boys all started groaning and moaning. The boys looked at Francine like she grew a second head. "Mom, make her stop," Caleb shouted. Caleb turned on Franny in outrage. "Keep it up, and I'm going to toss you in a snowbank in your pajamas. You are in kindergarten, Franny. You play with dolls, finger paint, drink milk, and take a nap." Franny stuck her tongue out at her brothers and crossed her arms. "Well, excuse me for wanting my brain to grow. I'm going to be a doctor, and you just wait. I'm going to be way smarter than all of you boys." Franny turned her back on them all and picked up her doll. She planned on ignoring all of them dumb boys for 5 whole minutes. She would show them. "Caleb, do not threaten your sister. I am sure the roads are fine, or school would be closed. Maybe you should all get ready, just in case. I will go outside and check things out." Both dogs came running in through the back of the house where the doggy door was located. Both dogs were covered in snow. Their black lab, Bud No, was so peppered with white he looked extremely odd. Their little dog Ernie had snow stuck to his face. The snow on his face resembled a beard and mustache. The children headed upstairs to get dressed, all moaning and groaning. Elijah wandered down, clean and dressed, ready to go. Stella was not surprised at all. The kids got about halfway up the stairs when her husband yelled from his office, "White Cloud is closed!" The boys cheered with happiness. Franny was bummed out. She adored school. Alden Sr. strolled up to Stella. He smiled that smile, the one that made her want to smack him 1 second or kiss him the next. Babe, bummer. I gotta go to work. Those cows are not going to feed themselves. Alden's face held a self-satisfied smirk. It was rare that Alden was even home. Stella stopped Alden from walking away. Don't forget to take AJ, Ben, Caleb, and David with you. After all, more hands make the work go faster. You have fun now, Stella smirked. Wait, why am I taking 4 and you're keeping only 2? Alden protested. Stella tapped Alden on the nose with her finger and said sweetly, because I carried all 6, Stella said with a smile. Alden looked stunned, then beaten. Well, I guess you got me. Alden sighed. What are you 3 going to do? Alden asked. We are going to put on our coats and shovel the porch off, and the sidewalks too. Stella turned, looking over her shoulder at Alden. She had sarcasm written all over her face. Make sure you all dress warm. Hey, Alden, have a great morning, babe. Stella blew Alden a kiss and smiled slyly. Alden strolled over to Stella. He grabbed her around the waist, dipped her, and kissed her fiercely. Stella struggled at first, but man, this husband of hers was such a good kisser. She melted. The fact that he was such a good kisser was probably why they had 6 kids. Meanwhile, all the children complained about their burning eyes and being scarred for life. They let out ews and yucks. David pretended to faint and made gagging sounds. Franny just giggled. How can you even breathe doing that? Franny asked. Alden lifted Stella back up onto her feet. He waggled his eyebrows at her and headed out the door, chuckling all the way. Stella tried to look mad. Dang man had kissed the sass right out of her. That was episode 1. So feel free to reply and let me know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe and pass it on to other people and, you know, spread the word. Have a great day.